seeking legal advice and going to court to get access. They tend to shy away. Now, I can understand that, yes, it's the system, and as Black people, we know what the system is like. But particularly in this kind of context, when it comes to your children as fathers, you have to use the system to have access to your children if the mum is being difficult. Because what you don't want is your kids to grow up and go and say, well, Dad, you weren't really around, I wasn't there for me. Because you can give the excuse, or your mum's being difficult. So I try and encourage a lot of Black fathers and say, look, you have to go through the court arena, and I know you don't like it, but do it privately so you can have access to your children, so you can co-parent.
Okay, what, sorry to cut in now. What that sound advice that you gave there? Okay, how is it received? How is it generally taken in the cases that you deal with practically now?
It is. I mean, when I speak to a lot of the fathers, a lot of them say, "Oh, it's long, this and this," or they tend to kind of take a step back. And I think, Stanley's made a good point that I think there's no trust within the system per se, that actually I'm going to have access, or it's going to be more favorable to the mum, or actually I'm a Black man going through the courts to have access to my child. So I don't want that. And I know it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So most tend to back off. And I try to explain to them that, look, when you do that and you back off, in terms of being able to have any rights over your child, is null and void. You've got nothing, and the mum is the one who's going to be setting pace. Particularly, it's going to be difficult. But if you want to have access, use the system. Look, I want to have my contact. I want to see my child, because, as you said, it takes two to make a child. So, but I think with a lot of Black men, we don't like to access this. I try and encourage and say, use the system, even though you don't like it. This is about your children. And if you want to co-parent with the mum, if she's not prepared to be civil with you outside of court, without going on the road, go via the court route. Get your parental responsibility. Be involved. It's really, really important. We have to.
Good. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Good points there. Swing out there, JP.
Okay. So Nana, I listened to what you just said. You have to remember, and Shola just asked something. He asked, why do relationships break down? I think that's the most important part to this question.
Because that's the core of it, isn't it? That's the, you know what I mean?
So you remember, has happened. If you've got a guy now who has cheated on a female numerous amount of times, and there's a child now involved, and he's got 5 children. If the mum of that child now says, I'm going to hold feelings, you remember, the guy hasn't maybe stepped up, he hasn't showed anything, and he now goes, well, I want access to my child, but he hasn't shown anything of use, of value. Let's say he's still on the roads. And if we're talking about breakdown, and this is what I always say, it's going to go down to, this is what I believe, is our morals and our values in relationships are flawed. Sex is such an important activity. It's the only activity in creation that creates life. But we make sex seem like it's just going to the park. I had tea, I had sex with this girl, I had sex with that girl, I had a Twix, I went to the gym, oh yeah, and I'm gonna have sex tomorrow. So what happens, because we don't value this action, and this is life, we take big actions that have got great consequences. But without our responsibility and understanding the action, children are now involved. So it's not as simple as, let's just go court, let's just do this, other, because we've got deeper issues going on, which is the value a person plays on the activity, a value they place on their life, the value they place on the other person. I know girls who have sex with guys who are certain skin color or certain kind of eye color, because they're like, yo, my son or my child is now going to have that thing. So she hasn't placed value on herself or her life. I know guys who are breathing up girl all over the place, saying, yo, bro, I'm trying to make a football team. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And because there's still a foundational issues going on. And this is what Shola's asking. He's saying, what are the foundational issues that are now making us make these decisions, very important decisions, making them think they're light?
You
because we're already talking about the court system.
JP, just to add to that, sorry to cut you, just to add to that, you see, the value thing keeps cropping up. And I remember asking this last week that before I come to you now, what the value system? What is our value system? Right? Is it based? Is it the media that dictates it? Is it friends? Is it peers? Is it our brethren? What's the value system that makes you think, okay, well now I want to go and have a football team?